Hey viewers, you are welcome once again to Success Fashion Academy. Thank you for subscribing to our channel. Thank you so much for the comments. Thank you so much. And for those of you that have not yet subscribed to our channel, you can as well do so. And watching the video, you can like, you can comment and share it to your so thank you so much for tuning in. Today I'll be working on this project. I'm going to be cutting a 6 pieces blouse with bustier. 6 pieces blouse with bustier. It's a 6 pieces blouse but with a bustier cup, and you can either put a bra cup or you put a wording to pad it. So these are the things I'll be needing for this project. I have my neck cuff here, I have my armhole cuff here, I have my breast cuff here, I have my scissors, my ruler, my marker and my paper tape, in which I'm going to be using to join it together because I'm working with a pattern paper. So today you could see that the pattern paper was joined because it cannot reach for the required measurement, so we have to join it. If you are working with a pattern paper, you have to join it for it to reach. So the measurement I'm going to be using today, I'm going to using your basic bodice measurement is required here, because whenever you are working on a project, you must know your basic bodice measurement. What is basic bodice measurement? That is our blouse length. If you are doing a blouse, if you are doing a gown, your hip, your everything, that is basic bodice. So this one that I'm using for this measurement is the length of the blouse, the actual length, the required length. This 6 pieces blouse can be worn on a trouser, on a skirt, and it is not always a short blouse because it has to cover the tummy because of the flare at the down. So if it's too small, it will be flying up. Whenever the breeze is taking it up, it will be flying up and showing your tummy. So the blouse length that we are going to be using here is 26, while the under bust length is 14. My nipple length is 10 by 8. The nipple length is 10 and the nipple radius is 8. The bust circumference is 42. The under bust circumference is 34, while the shoulder is 8, the chest line 7. Those are the measurements you will be using for this project. So I'll start. If you look at this pattern paper, it's just straight. So, and I'm working, always calculate first before you start to work. That means always calculate the material you want to fold so that you won't have wastage in your material. Even if it's not pattern paper, you must always calculate. So the highest measurement here is 42. So it's the bust circumference that we are going to use to calculate. So you can do your calculation like this. The 42, and we are doing a 6 pieces. So if you are going to be doing a 6 pieces, that is 42 divided by 6, that is 7. So if I'm going to fold, and my nipple point is 10 by 8, so the nipple that is 8, that is 8 divided by 2 is equal to 4, and that 4 I'm going to be adding joining to it, so that is 4.5. So when I'm folding this pattern paper like this, I'm folding 5 inches into 2. I want you to get it right. It's with bustier. It's not a 6 pieces skirt. That is the actual measurement you fold into 2. This is bustier. And if you are doing a 6 pieces blouse, the front panel, you calculate it with the nipple radius. And the nipple radius is 8 here. It's not like a skirt that we calculate it, like if the 42 now, I'll just divide by 6. I'll get 7 at the center point. But if it's 7, you get, and you now use it to cut it in blouse, your nipple points will not correspond because your nipple radius is 8 and you are folding this pattern by 7. You can see that it's not up to your nipple measurement. So for this blouse, we are going to be using the nipple radius to fold. The nipple radius is 8. So, and you know that our pattern paper has to be on fold, which is 4. That 4 plus half to join, and you put ease of half because in the essence of trimming, that is 5. So if I'm going to fold this pattern paper, I'm going to be folding 5 here. That is 5 into 2. That is 5. So because of the down, because of its pieces, I'm going to do times 2 of here. That is what I'm going to fold. 5, that is 10. That is 10 that I'm going to fold here. I told you it's a blouse, so that's why we are using the nipple measurement, nipple to nipple, to calculate. So you can see it now. This is my 10 here. It's the same, is the 5 here, but at the down it cannot be the 5. So that's why you are bringing your hand outside. And concerning the down, it depends on the effectiveness you want. It depends on how you want the down to be. If you don't want it to be too big, as this place is 5, you can add 3 inches. So you fold your pattern fabric by 8. So you don't want it to be too big, you just want it to be firm on you. So you can actually make it 8, or you make it 9, anyhow you want, if you don't want it to be too big. So let's use 9 so that it will not be too big. So the next thing is you are going to be applying our measurement, the under bust, which is 14. Let's do under bust 14. So the nipple point is 10. This is the nipple point. So I'll rule on it. And I will label it. This is my nipple point, which is the MP, the under bust, which is the UB, and the whole length I'm using is 26. So the length is 26. 26 plus, whenever you are doing a blouse that is going to be turned at the down, you have to put your bending allowance and sewing. So 26 plus 1.5, that is the minimum you can put. So that is the minimum measurement you can put. You can put 2 inches if you want the lining to go in very well. So I'm going to be using 1.5. That is 27 and a half. So this is my length here. And as I told you, now we are not going to start with neck immediately. As I told you, we are using our nipple to nipple measurement, which is 8. The nipple to nipple measurement is 8. So divided into 2, that is 4. 4 plus half to join it, that is 4.5. You mark your 4.5 on the nipple point. And you know that you are going to create his bustier. It has to bring out shape. So this 4.5 on the nipple point will be too big for the under bust, because you know your measurement for your bust is bigger than your under bust. That is normal. So this under bust, if this place is 4.5, depending on how you want the under bust to shape, and you know because it's 6 pieces, you have to let the under bust to be firm. So I'm going to be reducing 1 from this nipple point to the under bust. That is 3.5 here. 3.5, 4.5 on the nipple point, and 3.5. That means if I'm using 4 as the nipple radius here, under here is 3 plus the half that I'm going to use to join. So at the neck side too, because the bustier has to shape at the up and at the under bust for this nipple point to come out. So I'm going to be using the same 3.5 at the neck side too. So I'm going to be connecting it with my breast cuff. So you are going to connect it like this. So you use a ruler or you use your hand to connect it to the hub. You can see the way I connect it, so that this place can come out. After then is the down. I told you if this place is 4.5 like this, depending on how you want the down to fall, but it cannot go the same way with the hub. So this one, I'm going to be making it, this is 4.5 and I add 4 to it, that is 8.5. But if you want it to be full, it's because it's a blouse. That's why I don't want it to be too big. So I'm adding 4 inches to it. So from there, you have to connect to your under bust. It's from there I'm connecting to my under bust. You can see the shape. So you connect to your under bust like this. So this is it. So at the down part here, because of all this edge, you have to come in by 1 or 1.5 to shape this down, and you shape it to the length. So when you shape it like this, so after reeling it out like this, we are going to cut this center front out. So you are going to cut this center front. You follow the shape. You are going to cut it out like this. Don't let it take away out of your nipple point. So this is the center front like this. You can see I have not yet removed the neck, because if you say you should remove the neck now, you don't know whether maybe the neck I'm using is 4 or 5, but it's after we join the other side that we can remove the neck. So the next thing for us is to cut the both sides, the side for it. So I'm still going to fold my pattern paper like this, and you have to calculate it. What did I mean by calculating? The bust is 42 here. This 42, you have removed nipple to nipple, that is 8 plus your joining, that's what, but your normal is 8. If you divide your 42, that is front and back, you divide it into 2, that is 21. That means out of 21, I have 8 here. So the side will be 13. 13 will be divided into both sides here. Do you understand? That 8 is here already. So the one that we join at the side will be 13. That will be 6.5 here. 6.5 here. So that 13 will be divided into 2 to give me my side. So this is the way I'm going to fold it. My pattern paper. The side is 6.5, but you know that we cannot bend 6.5 because the down is still going to be wide. And when we use this, we use 8 here, so the down will be times 2. That will be 16. Because this one it's not on fold, we are cutting it separately. So the next thing is, when you cut this one like this, you turn this one like this. So you turn it like this. The first thing is using it to get out the shape. I'm getting out this shape here. You use it to get out this shape so that it can correspond with each other. So at the down also, get out the shape here. Here. So how do you calculate? This is your nipple point. So we have 4 here already, that is 8. 8 minus 21, that is 13. That means my side will be, from this measurement, from this place, my side will be 13 divided into 2. You know it's on both sides. That 13 will be shared into both sides. There is no seam allowance there. So that 13 to 2 will be 6.5 plus half that I'm going to use to join it to this, to the center front, that is 7. And after that 7, I'm going to be having 2 inches allowance, that is 9. So if I'm going to rule my line, this is the 9 I'm going to rule. Let me come again so that you can understand what I'm saying. You know, it's a bustier. It's not ordinary 6 pieces that you will just cut out the center front, you just divide it. This one, you use the nipple to nipple, because when you are sewing 6 pieces blouse, the nipple to nipple must stay on your nipple. The joining of that 6 pieces must stay on your nipple from the first nipple to the second nipple. If you are attaching a zipper to the front, you will know that you have add your zip allowance to the front before you start your measurement. So this one now, when I remove the 8 radius, that is 4, we don't add the joining to this one. It's already there for you to join, but the actual measurement is 8. That by the time you finish sewing this cloth, the nipple to nipple will be 8 exactly. So, and the bust is 42, and you know that 42 divided by 2, that is the front panel and the back panel, that is 21. So that 21 minus the 8 you already have here, so the 8 you already have here, it remains 13. So that 13 is into 2, because the right side and the left side, you are going to put the 13 divided by 2, that will be 6.5. So that 6.5, you will start your measurement from here also. When you start your measurement from here, that is 6.5 plus the half. You are going to join it like this. You know that this one already has its ½ inch, so that is 7 plus seam allowance. This is where you are going to put your seam allowance. So this is how you are going to rule it to the up. Seam allowance, that is 9. So you can say I bring out a shape here and a shape here. So if you look at this down now, in this folded paper I have 8. So here too I have 15. That means this place too is on fold because of the bustier. That is why I did not fold it. So if you don't understand it well, you can drop your question on the comment, in the comment box. So this is how I'm going to cut it out. I've already ruled it so that I can explain it properly for you if you don't get it right the way I explain. So this is it like this. So this is the sides. You understand what I'm saying now? Once we have finished cutting it, this is one side and this is the other side here. So this is how it's going to be. So by the time I join it, I'll join it now and come and show you the way it is. I'll use a paper tape to pin it so that by then we can now remove our neck. So I'm through with the joining now. As you can see, the bustier is out already. It's a 6 pieces, but with the nipple to nipple. You see the way it's looking, it's pumping up on its own, even without wadding, without stay, without bra cup, it's already up on its own. So it is now we are going to add to input our measurements. So the measurement is shoulder 8. So that shoulder 8 plus half for joining to the sleeve. So for the neck, I'm going to be using my neck of 3.5. You can use any neck you like. 3.5 by 5. I'm using a round neck by 5, and I'm going to connect it. You can use your free hand, you can use your neck cuff. You could see the neck, and I'm going to, you can use a round neck, you can use a V neck. It all depends on your preference. So my shoulder slope, you can see the reason why you cannot cut all these things out before you join it. You have to join it. You can join it with a temporary stitch if you are cutting directly on your fabric. So this is it, this way. My shoulder slope. After then is my armhole. How do you get your armhole? As I told you in those, if you look at some of my video, you see the way I explain how to get your armhole. Bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. So this bust is 42 divided by 6 will be 7 plus 1.5, that is 8.5. So this is my armhole. So you can see that my bust is already out. So the bust circumference is 42 divided by 4, that would be 10.5. You could see it now. So with my 2 inches seam allowance, so this is your armhole length, you roll it like this. So at the armhole, you get the middle to so that you can come in. So in coming in this armhole, you might need to come in well more than half an inch. Why? It's because you know it's a pieces, and so that this place will not be too bulge here. So what do? You check your shoulder, 8.5. This place, what is it? 9 is too much, it will be bulge. It's because we cut it in pieces. So you come in and make it and connect it back to your armhole. You come in like this, so that by the time you wear it, your armpit will not be bulge. So here now I have 8.5. At least I have my accurate. It must not be bigger than the shoulder. It can be accurate or reduced, but it must not be bigger than the shoulder. So you always calculate. That is why I'm bringing my hand in, because of the arm, so that at the end of the day, when you put your sleeve, it will not be bulge. So at the under bust here, the under bust is 14. You can see that my nipple point is exactly on the 10. My under bust is 14. You see it? My length, you can see the length 26, and I have my 27.5. So the under bust here, which I told you is 34, 8.5. That is 8.5 plus 2 inches for seam allowance. You connect it to the bust circumference, and here is from here that you now come down. You don't need any other measurements here. You just take your ruler and roll it down. So once you roll it down, the next thing is to give this down an umbrella shape. So the same way, when you remove 1.5 here, you are going to do it at this side too. You can come up by 2 inches. So you give it a shape here, so that your clothes will be balanced. You can see the way it's balanced on the pattern paper. So that's how I'm going to cut it out. This is the down. That's the down for it to have an umbrella shape. So this is the neck. I told you you can use any neck depending on your preference. This is my neck, this is my shoulder slope, and the armhole. You can see my armhole is in very well because of the way we cut it. So my side with seam allowance. So if you don't calculate it very well, you might not have seam allowance at the side at the end of the day. So this is my 6 pieces Bustier blouse. You can see it's coming out beautifully. So by the time you transfer it on your fabric, even without putting wording, putting anything, you can see it. You can see it's having that shape. Everywhere of every panel of it is having that shape. You see it. So by the time you wear it, it will come like this. Is my pattern paper. I'll cut the center back for us so that we can see, and decide how to calculate it. For the back, you don't need to be removing nipple points. So for the back, you are just going to divide your measurement into 6. You know you have 42. 42 divided by 2, you have removed 21 for the front panel. This is it. So the back is 21. So that 21 will be divided by 3 because it's 6 pieces. So divided by 3 will be 7. That means each panel of the back will be 7. You know this one in the front, the center one is 8, while the others are 6.5. It's because of our nipple points. That's why it's like that. So for the back, I measure my length. This fabric, this pattern paper is single, but if you want to do, you have to make it unfold. The length is 27.5 for the front, but mind you, at the back it has to be 1 inch higher. You know that our back is normally comes down than the front. So what are we going to do? Plus 1. We are going to add 1 to the 27.5 in the front, so the back will be 28.5. This is our length, and I will roll it out. I'm cutting the back panel now. So at the under bust, which is 14 in the front, you know that it is 1 inch higher than the back, than the front. The back is 1 inch higher than the front, so the back half length will be, under bust will be 15. Should be 15 at the back. So at the back we don't need nipple points because we are not working with nipple here. So at this under bust here, I'm going to come in by, it depends on the bust of the person. Some people are big bust, some people are normal bust. I'm going to come in by 1.5 or 2. You can come in by 2 here at the under bust measurement, that place you are connecting from here, that you are going out like this. You know, this is the under bust here. Look at it here. It's from there you go out. So I'm going to be connecting it like this to this place, to the down, and to the up. What's the reason why I did this? Is because the bust is much at the front, but the back, our back is flat. So I have to remove the excess here so that by the time I do the zip, this place will not be bulged. It will not be coming out bulgy. So it is after that you put your zipper allowance. Please try to understand this place very well. It's very, very essential. It's after this place you get your zipper allowance like this. You now connect your zipper allowance. So that means I'm going to cut away the first one I remove. I'm going to cut it away. So this one, I'm going to cut it away. I'm going to cut it away. So this will be my zipper allowance, because I don't want this back to be bulgy at the back. So it's from here, and I told you that when we divide that 21 into 3, that is 7. So I start my measurement here. That 7 divided by 2, you know, is on fold. There will be zip here. One place will be 3.5. So 3.5 plus half to join it, that will be 4. So that 4, I'll take it up. But at the under bust, you have to reduce, because for it not to be too much, you reduce by half. Because you see the way we reduce here, that is what makes the shape to come out. So when you reduce here, this is 4 here. So I told you, you can approximately times 2, or you add dividend, but for this one, times 2 is okay. That will be 8 here. So 8 here, if you look at it, it corresponds with what you use in the front. So from here, I'm going to connect with my ruler to the under bust. It's as simple as this. So this is it like this. I connected it like this, and the same way you did this down. You can see I'm not removing neck from the start, because some people do make the mistake of removing the neck, and by the time you finish, your neck will either be too wide or be too small. So that is why you first cut it out and join it before removing. I told you can use a temporary stitch to join it. So for this is where I'm going to cut out. So the back is being that bustier at the back. There's no bust at the back. So you just have to notch your zipper allowance. So this is how the back will look like. You know, the front is puffed up, but the back is parallel. So this is where you cut out. The reason why you cut it is for this place to the back. You are just going to, you know, this is the side. This is that's the reason why I notch this way, so that you not go and put, you know, the same, it has the same shape, so that you not go and put this side here. So this side, I'm going to turn it like this to get the other sides. So the other sides too, it needs calculation. So I get the bending here because I'm joining it to it. Please, you can drop your comments. You can drop your question in the comment box. I will attend to it. I know you have a lot of questions about it, but I will attend to every question. You can see I bring out the shape here the same way I did in the front, so that it can correspond. It can have the same shape. The shape I use at the center, I'll use it here. So for the side too, you know it's 7. It's divided into 3 on its own. There is no calculation about that. So it is 3.5. That is 7. This one will not be 3.5 again. It will be 7 because this one is on fold. That's why it's 3.5, the center, but the side is open on its own. So it will be 7, 7, 7. We have cut the middle because of zip. When you add it together, it will become 7. So this 7, you are going to join it to this one by half. That is 7.5. And you are going to put 2 inches same allowance. And you can as well put your ease allowance of half, because in while cutting, so that if you make any mistake, there will be space for you. So this is the line. You know this is on fold minus the zipper allowance. You don't calculate the zipper allowance with it. This is on fold, that is 8. So it will be 16, or if you don't want it to up to that, you can just come out small. So this is it this way. So this is how I'm going to cut it out, and you have to check it so that there won't be any mistake. It will not be shorter than each other. So this is the, you have to make this place. Use the first one that you shaped out to cut this place, so that one will not be straight and the other one bulge. The two will be on the same line. You have the same shape, so that it will help your dress to come out beautifully. And the side, we are cutting the side, it will be 2. It has to be 2, one on the right side and the other on the left side. So I'm through with cutting it now. So you see it, this is the center front and this is the side. So you could see it now. So I'm going to use my paper tape and tape it so that you can retrim it. So if you are using a fabric, you go and use temporary stitch to join it. By the time you join it, you not cut lining first. It's after you join it that you now use it to cut your lining, your everything that you want to cut. So you use your paper tape and gum it. You can see the shape that it corresponds with each other, because I use it to cut the other side too, so that there will not be any bulge there. So you should know that this one is 2, this one is 2 when you are cutting it. You are cutting it on your fabric, but if you are using a pattern paper, you can use 1, 1, so that it won't waste your pattern paper. So you see it like this. I've already joined it. Like this. You can see the way it's coming out. You can see that this place here, even though you wear it, it will not budge on you, because I've really shaped it inside. The shape is outside there. So the next thing we are going to do, we are going to insert our measurements. So this is our zipper allowance. We don't need to touch it. It's from there I will start my shoulder. My shoulder is 8 plus half joining 8.5. So plus half joining is 8.5. So my neck, the neck I use at the front is what I'm going to use at the back too. So you can actually put your neck like this and get what you use here, but at the back it might not go down like this. You don't need it to go down like the front at the back here. So the back I can come down by 2 or 2.5 depending on what I want. So you connect it to the neck. You let both the front neck and the back neck at the width to correspond. It might not correspond at the length, but it should correspond at the width, so that one will not be too much. So after that is my shoulder slope. Your shoulder slope. And after that is my armhole. My armhole, you put your armhole measurement there. So the length of the armhole, you know the way we calculate our armhole. So my bust circumference is 10.5. 10.5 here, and my 2 inches seam allowance. You can see the way I calculated it. It makes it correct perfectly, so that it will not be that it's shortened in any way. It will not shorten any way. So you are going to connect your armhole. So you get the middle of the armhole. For the back, you might not need to come inside the way I come inside too much in the front. If you look at it, you see that I already have my 8, and this is 8.5. It's because of that place is Bustier. That is why the front is coming in very well. So, but the back, our back is broad, we don't need it. So for the under bust at the back too, 34. You can see my dress is already, the 6 pieces comes out very well. 34 is 8.5. You have already joined it. That's why I'm not adding any joining allowance. And my seam allowance is 2 inches. So I connect it to the bust measurements here. So from there, I'll come out. You know the way we come out at the front too. From there, I'll come out like this. So, and I'll create my umbrella shape at the down. Don't forget that here I come up by 2 for my umbrella shape. So the next thing, I'm going to use this front pattern to check it. You see at the side, I'm using it to check it. So if there is still a need for me to still go up or to come down, I will adjust it. You see, it has to correspond. And our shoulder, the 1 inch higher, is there already. You see it? So this is what we are going to cut out now. So this is my neck. This is the armhole. And this is the sides. So I'm through with it now. This is the back panel, and this is the front panel. So you check the sides, it has to correspond, so that by the time you turn your line, you do everything finish. It will not be that one is big, one is longer than one. You see it? So this is our 6 pieces Bustier blouse. Thank you so much for watching. This is the back panel, and this is the front panel. So when you have trimmed it like this, you can now loosen it up and place it on your fabric, because you have cut away all the excess. When you just place it on your fabric, use it to cut the lining and the interfacing, you are done. So thank you so much for staying tuned to this channel. If this video has been helpful, kindly give it a thumbs up. And if you have any question concerning this particular blouse, just drop your question on the comments, in the comments box. I will attend to it all. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. God bless you.